Today I took a super stressful, hard exam after grinding for several weeks while limiting my distractions, and in this video I want to walk you through all the things that would have distracted me and everything I couldn't get to while I was locked in. So starting off, let's go get some food. So when I was growing up, I had a favorite type of food that I would eat every single morning before school, and it's changjori-menpa, which is soy braised beef and rice, and then you're gonna do sesame oil on top and 2 or 3 eggs. Yolk has to be running, and I like to mix that all up and eat it with kimchi. It's just something I like to eat to comfort myself. So while I cook my dinner, I'm gonna have this on. This is one of my favorites for moisturizing. When you're trying to reset, or if you're trying to feel motivated, getting up for another day, I would recommend you do a sheet mask because you do feel productive. So all you really have to do is deal with the initial cold, because I put my sheet masks in the fridge. Like, the hardest thing is grabbing it, getting all the liquids on your face, and that's all you need to do. And all you need to do is stand there like Michael Myers. Just squeeze it into the corners of my nose where my smile lines are. So just like in the center and right here. I think food tastes better after you sacrifice something for it. After a stretch of hard days, after holding off on things you wanted, I used to always chase quick satisfaction. I still catch myself doing that. It's just easier to get the thing now than wait for it. But there's something different about earning a moment like this, sitting here, eating slowly, not rushing to the next thing. It's such a small moment, but it reminds me of how much I actually sacrificed to get here. I am on my way home from picking up kalbi because I have been craving naengmyeon. Specifically, hue bibimbap naengmyeon, which is seafood chilled buckwheat noodle soup that a lot of Korean people eat with kalbi. I'm not making it from scratch. I got it packaged. Okay, don't give me too much credit, girly. I do have a lot of house chores to do. Okay, these pots and pans have not been sitting like this for weeks. This is just what happens when you're too tired to do more than quick soap and rinse after cooking. So right now I'm actually getting my stainless steel pots back to the shine that they have, and stainless steel is really annoying. It's not just soap and water. You really have to scrub, and you also have to get into the routine of maintaining your pots and pans. But watching it go from dull to actually shining again is the most satisfying thing freaking ever. It's such a small thing, but when I do avoid these smaller day-to-day tasks, it kind of builds up into this big lump of to-dos, and cleaning my pots and pans was one of those things on my to-do list. It feels really nice to get this off my checklist. But also, same thing with cleaning the rest of the house, wiping things down, putting things back to where they belong. None of this is glamorous, but it's part of the reset. And I think we forget how much a clean space affects how you feel. And this is the laundry that I never got to. There are specific clothes that I like to wash a specific way. And I also like to do towel resets around the house, but I like to match my towels in a specific pattern based on color. There is something so satisfying about resetting the towels around the house. And then prepping fruit for the week. This feels small, but it honestly changes my whole week. If the fruit is already washed and cut, I'll actually eat it. If it's not, it just kind of sits in the fridge a little too long. This is part of taking care of myself in a way I didn't have time for while I was studying, thinking a few days ahead instead of just getting through today. So one of my skincare routines that I couldn't get to while studying was doing microneedling at home. So I do have a microneedling at-home kit that I use once a month. I'll be showing you the steps of my at-home microneedling routine, what product I use, how I sterilize the device, what I do specifically in the areas that I target, and then I will walk you through the aftercare as well. So the device that I use is the Banish 3.0 kit. It is reusable up to these amount of times that are listed at the bottom. Snap it on like that, and then you'll remove this, and there are fine needles about 0.5 millimeters. So that is roughly the depth of the skin on your eyelid. So it's super, super thin, which is why it is totally safe to use this at home. Now the needles that they use in the office, obviously those are a little bit longer and they go in deeper, which is why you require numbing cream, which is why you are required a professional. The first thing you want to do is wash your face. I wash my face all the way down to my neck because sometimes I do microneedle down here, but I'm gonna take off everything and make sure that your skin is very clean. I kind of like to go over my face with alcohol wipes too, I know, which is kind of gross. It's very rough on the skin, but just in the areas that I'm targeting just because of the bacteria. And then after that, I'm gonna wash my hands and alcohol swab my devices. But again, the cleaner that you can be and the more sterile that you are, the safer that your skin and you will be. Banish actually sends you the recommended serums that you should be using after you microneedle. I will go into that in the aftercare section of my video. You are going to get isopropyl alcohol and put it, this is kind of brand new, so let me just put isopropyl alcohol in the cap, let your device sit in there for about 5 minutes. You are going to take it off, wait for it to dry, and you're gonna press into your skin gently. I'm kind of sweating. Ooh. The areas that I do get watery eye is my forehead because it is a little bit sensitive. And then I'm gonna go in on my upper lip as well because this area I used to have a lot of acne and I have acne scars there. I'm just gonna go over this one area. Okay, so for aftercare, make sure your hands are clean. You want to use serums with ingredients that have a harder time penetrating your skin barrier on a normal day. Vitamin C and hyaluronic acid, those are great post-treatment, and you want to apply the serum directly on top. Okay, you don't have to wash your face again, because when you do, you are allowing more bacteria to get into your face. Otherwise, you want to keep everything else super gentle. All your skincare after should be fragrance free, no actives, no retinoids, and avoid the sun like you're a freaking vampire, okay? But I try to do this once a month, but usage could totally look different for you because your skin journey is different from where I am at. I think this is a good reminder that you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on treatments. There are smaller ways like this to actually upkeep your skin yourself at home in the most convenient way. But this product is kind of a reminder for me that small, consistent habits over time can get you there too. It just takes time and patience. And on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.